welcome to As Built, the podcast from Graphic Machine about architecture firms, buildings, and how both get built. I'm your co-host, Patience Jones. With me is
Brian Jones,
your other co-host. Thank you for joining us. Today we are talking about project sheets. Project Sheets 2.0, I'm calling it. I'm trying to make this very exciting because it is very important.
They are.
Project sheets, I think, aren't the thing that gets anybody's blood racing, except when it's time to pull them together for a presentation or an RFP and you don't have what you need. So what we're going to do is sort of talk through how to get ready, how to improve them so that you don't have to panic and you have a better chance of conveying your work and winning your commissions.
Excellent. So let's dive in.
Let's.
So what is the primary purpose of a project sheet at this point in history?
This seems like such an obvious and rudimentary question. However, I think it's really important to state the purpose, because if you don't accept the purpose, you will do all kinds of things with your project sheets that don't make any sense and waste a lot of your time. So the two purposes at this point in history are to highlight your work and your processes and to reinforce why people should work with you. That's it.
Nothing else.
It's not to show off how great a photographer's skills are. They're not to stick in the craw of your competitor. They are to highlight your work, your processes, what it would be like to work with you.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you would think. Yeah. But when you get into them, you can really write that down, put it on the side of your desk. Remember, if you're thinking about, should we include this project? Should we be talking about this thing? Refer back to, why are we doing this? Does what we want to include support those things?
Does it make it clearer or does it make it less helpful? Yeah.
Exactly.
So the primary need for these is to really help you in your RFP efforts, to put together pitches for prospective clients, and to also serve as kind of the archive for the work that the firm has done as well, so that there's an ongoing ability to understand the work that has happened from the firm over time.
Yes, with a caveat. There is a bit of an encyclopedic quality to project sheets that are maintained for the firm's archive. Those have a purpose. You should have some place where every piece of information about that project is included. Is that necessarily the version you will include in an RFP response or in a pitch? Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully you create a different version of that project sheet that speaks to what the people in that specific need are asking you to respond to. Because if you just throw your encyclopedia at them, it's a lot of extra work for them to go through. They're not going to read it. They're going to miss what's important for their project. I
think right now there are probably some marketing managers that are clenched at hearing that whole idea.
Yeah.
Because I think that, there's a mindset that frequently exists where you have a project sheet and it's locked.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that's one of the challenges of doing it that way, is that it doesn't allow you this kind of extensible document that allows you to tailor it. So it really feels like you thought about what the RFP was talking about when you put this together. And I think that that's a really important point, but may create a little hurdle for people to get over in their minds.
I mean, I think, and I absolutely agree with that. And I think anytime the advice is, oh, you need more things, people cringe, understandably. I think if you start with what we'll call the kitchen sink version of the project sheet, and you have kind of the originator of the project sheet, which has everything in it, then the rule is, if you're creating something for a specific purpose, What you should mostly be doing is stripping things out.
Yep.
You should not be writing a new encyclopedia. You should be removing all the things that isn't the answer to the question.
Yep.
And
Totally
that's
agree.
how you arrive at your different versions, which, yeah, may require some redesigning. It may require some adjustments, but again, it should just be stripping away.
So we kind of have the standard format of, large photo, maybe one or two of those, some factual details of the projects and awards that might have been won. That's kind of historical background of what the project sheets have been kind of up to this point. How do you imagine that changes in your mind with this process, with 2.0?
So I'll start by saying I don't think there's anything wrong with the 1.0. That's what somebody expects to see in a project sheet is, what is this big, sexy photo, smaller photos? That's fine. And that's what most places have done. I think how you can improve them and how you can stand out from competition is to really tell the story of the project, not in a tome, but in what did we do here and why was this better because we did it. So if you tell somebody that you adjusted how the project was cited, why did that matter?
Yeah.
What benefit did the owner and the occupants see from doing that? And was there something that caused you to have that realization that that's how it should be? After meeting with, representatives of the future occupants, we decided XYZ, and so we did this. Those are the kinds of things that make a difference to people who are reading these project sheets.
And I would say incorporate video as well, which in a printed document, obviously you can't, but you can create a QR code that can be attached to the page that links up to the video that really helps you extend, because people can consume so much more information in a 15 to 30 second video than they can in 10 pages of written information.
Yes. And even in a PDF, you can include a link that is hyperlinked to the video. So if the person is looking at the document online, they can click through even without the QR code.
The next one is sort of the current backbone of the profession, which is having the really glamour shots on the project sheets and rethinking that to be more about context-oriented shots or shots that help communicate the story that you're talking about. So might entail rethinking the way that a photo shoot unfolds. Everybody has access to a really high-end photography, so much so that everything's starting to look the same, even if it really isn't. And there's the challenge in your RFP response, is that we're talking about differentiation at core here that you need to achieve, and your RFP is your first line of defense, really, or these documents are.
Exactly. Which also goes to explaining the challenges and the whys. The people that are issuing these RFPs and the organizations and companies that are issuing them, and even non-RFP projects that are interviewing you, they have concerns. They have specific concerns, and then they have generalized concern about the concerns that they don't know what they're going to be yet, but they know there are going to be some.
Yeah.
And they need to feel like whoever they pick is capable of addressing challenges without the project cratering, without getting bills for 3x the project cost, without getting bad press, without having the contractor walk off the job. That's what they want to see.
Yep.
When things came up, how did you deal with them? And if those challenges, if you can tell that those challenges would be in the same family of what this client prospect would be facing, those are the ones to talk about. But even just any challenges, any things that you came up with, did the zoning change mid-project? Was there backlash from, a community group? Was there flooding at the job site because of torrential rain that nobody saw coming? All kinds of things that you can talk about and how you solved it.
Make sure you list your project partners, for sure.
Yes. That
important detail.
I think it is read as speaking to who you are as a firm. If you present a project as if you were the only mind on the project, people know that other people worked on it. The people built it, people, landscaped it, people did the electrical wiring. There's a generosity in saying this is who we worked with. The other thing that's great is that if those project partners are people that the client has been thinking about working with or knows are good project partners, that helps you because they say, oh, if we hire this firm, we get access to these partners, or they know how to work with really top tier subs.
It's an industry version of social proof.
Yes,
sure. Yep.
That's exactly right. And nobody, we've heard firms say, well, I don't want to list my project partners because then the client will go around me. That's not how clients work. By and large, there might be some that do. They're not putting out an RFP so that they can have you identify who their mechanical engineer should be.
Yep.
They're going to pick the best person. They don't have the time or the inclination to go around you to get to your project partners.
And then this one's also probably going to cause a little bit of consternation, but instead of reducing your type size to 3-point type to include every detail that could be imaginably included with a project sheet, it's okay to provide an online link that has maybe an expanded version of things that you couldn't reasonably fit onto the page. That really does allow you to tell the core story elements that support what RFP is about or the pitch is about, and then allow your web and those details to carry the rest of the water, as it were.
The only thing that I would say about that is to check what the rules of the specific RFP are. If the RFP says we will not consider anything that's beyond the four corners of this document, then it doesn't hurt to include the link. You should still go ahead and include the link, but make sure that everything that they would absolutely need to make a decision is included on that piece of paper.
Absolutely.
But I think the dedicated project pages online, it helps in so many ways. I mean, it helps with your SEO, it helps with AI search, it helps with validation, and you won't regret it. And if it's a project that you wouldn't want a dedicated project page for online, then query why you are using it in a submission or a pitch deck.
So on the topic of RFPs, if you are feeling that your firm is struggling to get in front of people and having the right number in the top of your funnel, Patience has written a book about this, Publicity for Architecture Firms, What Actually Works Now. And by signing up for our newsletter, you can get a free download of it.
Yes. Thank you so much. If you want, you can sign up and send me an email, and I'll autograph a printed PDF and send it to you.
Perfect.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.